Hello, Melissa.
Hello, how are
Thank
you?
you. Good. Thank you for joining me.
Of
And
course.
I've been looking forward to having this conversation because I think what you do is so interesting. And I would like for you to say in your own words what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am a boudoir photographer on Long Island, but it's not really about taking pictures or getting like sexy pictures. It is more about tapping into the feelings, tapping into your femininity, your sensuality. And it's used more as a tool to empower yourself in the rest of your life, kind of to create a ripple effect and you just feel more empowered in your day to day life. Inspire you to do the things that you maybe wouldn't necessarily feel as brave to do because being vulnerable and essentially half naked in front of a stranger and then getting through that comfortably is very empowering.
Right, right. That makes so much sense. You've been a photographer for a really long time.
Yeah,
20 years? Am I
over 20 years at this
over
point.
20
I
years?
have to
And
recalculate it.
so, like, you did wedding photography before, and how long have you been a boudoir photographer?
I'm actually this month celebrating my official 5th year strictly as a boudoir photographer. So I'm going to be 5 years in business on April 27th.
Wow. Oh, congrats. So, what led
Thanks.
you to boudoir photography? Is it that you just weren't enjoying what you were doing, or were you just more called to boudoir photography, you know?
It was a little bit of everything, or a little bit of both. The weddings were burning me out. I was having anxiety doing them. It was physically so demanding, just destroying my body. I had so many, I called it one in particular. I called it camera elbow instead of tennis elbow because my elbow, I couldn't straighten my arm. It just hurt permanently. So it was physically demanding, mentally and emotionally demanding, and it wasn't rewarding. The brides that I was experiencing or the families that I was experiencing were more about like it's something that they were supposed to do. They were you're supposed to get married, and it became more like a checklist of things that were supposed to happen. They all have this idea of like what their wedding's supposed to be like, and then they would micromanage, or the day would be insane, and it just got incredibly burnt out.
Yeah.
And then when the world shut down and they all went away overnight, instead of being terrified that I literally lost my entire income overnight, it felt like an elephant was lifted off my shoulders. I literally went, so
Well, if
yes,
that is a sign that you needed to switch paths. So then,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
how did boudoir photography even become a thing for
So
you?
I had always been interested in it. I had done it like here and there throughout the years. I was a wedding photographer as well. I even did it on some weddings, like at the beginning for
Okay.
the bride, the beginning of the day. But I don't know. I just seemed like something that was going to be more rewarding to me because it was more about giving women this experience, and it's more luxury. So it's something that they want, not something that they have to do.
Right.
I dabbled in like doing boudoir, newborn photography, families, things like that. And I felt I was still feeling like so drained after each one. They were just very draining to me. And I finally just landed with boudoir, and it still is like the most rewarding experience in photography that I've ever had. So I feel like I found my niche, and like we are one.
I feel like you have as well. I mean, for if like you haven't seen Melissa's work, go to her Instagram immediately and look at her work. So like what this conversation is really about is about being seen without hiding. And I feel like with gifting, it's about acknowledgement, and with your work, it's self-acknowledgement. So what do you think, what do you feel you see more often when women hire you for a shoot that they're afraid of?
That's an interesting question. I feel like it does vary from woman to woman. I have a shoot on Friday, and when I first met her, she started off with, immediately she's a very abrasive personality too, but she was very like, why would I need to do a shoot? I don't ever need to do a shoot. And she like talked herself into this way. And then by the end of her own speaking, I didn't say a single thing. I never even said you should experience a boudoir shoot. She just asked what I did and then went on her own tirade. And by the end of it was like, you know what? I feel like I do need a boudoir shoot after like listening to herself talk herself through it.
Yeah.
And today she emailed me today and said like, I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm terrified. I'm not prepared. So I feel like a lot of women come in because they expect or think that they're supposed to be models and they're supposed to be like ready,
Yeah.
but you don't need to be ready. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to guide you through all of it, literally from what to wear to helping with hair and makeup to how to pose. I just guide through the entire experience. So my response to her in that email was, well, luckily you hired a professional that is like specifically works with women who are not prepared. I basically said, I can't wait for you to actually experience this and start to have fun. Like that's the main thing, is I want it to be fun. I want women like who come in with that fear and that apprehension to shed that away so fast. And I do. I have a way that I work where that fear goes away so quickly. And then we
Yeah.
laugh about it, and then it just becomes fun. The whole rest of the shoot becomes just a fun experience.
Yeah. So like what do you feel is it more body image issue? Because I know like there's multiple reasons a woman may be afraid to get undressed and take pictures. Some of it is cultural. You're raised to be modest. And obviously a lot of it for a lot of women, it's the body image issue. So what do you encounter more? Like, do they share this with you? Like, are women
Yeah.
just comfortable that they open up and they tell you like what they're afraid of, and then, this is where you come in as the expert and guide them?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually send out a questionnaire before the session that asks those questions. I say, what are your favorite parts of your body? And that can range from my eyes, my smile, my shoulders to my boobs or my butt. Like it can vary depending on the woman. And then I say, what are your least favorite parts of your body? And the most common ones are the double chin, even though everybody can have a double chin. If you pull your chin in, you have a double chin. If you push it out, you
Right.
don't.
It's
It's
posture.
it's
Yeah.
just simple as posing and posture, yeah. It's always the face, so the double chin, the arms, and the midsection or stomach area. Sometimes clients come in with scars, so it really does vary, but the main ones are always the face, the arms, and the stomach.
Okay.
So I go into each session already knowing that information. So when we're picking out outfits, we're going to plan around that. If a client comes in and whether it's one of my pieces in my closet or one of their pieces that they bring, and it's a two-piece outfit, but they told me that they don't like their midsection, then I'm going to pose them in a certain way where we're not showcasing that area. So we're going to work
Right.
around it. But I know all that coming in.
Yeah, I mean, you want them to love the pictures too, right? The images
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So like at the end of it, do you see a completely different woman walk out than the woman? And I'm just assuming that this is someone who's coming with a lot of fear, because I'm sure you also have women who are empowered and they're confident and they're just ready for the shoot. So we're talking about the women who come in with a lot of fear. Like, what do you think happens? It's an hour?
Yeah, it's about an hour, hour and a half session. But
So
honestly,
yes, you start with the hair and makeup and
yeah,
like
exactly. Well, yeah, that's not even including the hair and makeup. So the hair and makeup is part of it too. So they're getting pampered. So that is already starting a transformation for them where they're getting professionally done up. But it also acts as a time for us to hang out and chat. Like my girls, my team that I have, they joke around. They're like, "Oh yeah, we come in hot. Like you're just part of the group. You're part of the conversation. Like you're just
yeah.
you're learning. It's like, surface level stuff. Sometimes it's very deep and intimate, the conversations. It really just depends on where it goes. But you're part of the group and you're considered like one of us in that
Yeah.
moment. So that right there starts to melt away that apprehension because it doesn't feel like you're with strangers anymore. It feels like you're hanging out more with friends.
Hmm.
And then when we actually start shooting,
Sorry. They're
that's all right.
closing up now.
When we actually start shooting, that's, again, where it starts to melt away. Usually they're a little nervous at first. They'll put the first outfit on, they'll go change in the bathroom and then come out. But I demonstrate the posing. So you see me pose first. Then when they get into the position, I scan them from head to toe. I micro adjust every part, make sure they're in the most flattering position possible. I take multiple facial expressions, multiple angles of just the same pose, same shot. And then the biggest thing is I show them the pictures on the back of the camera. So that right there, 9 times out of 10, the reaction I get is, "Oh my God, I can't believe that's me," or that doesn't even look like me. And that's the moment where that veil's being lifted and they're seeing themselves as, unobjectively, as like we would see, like how you see your friends, how you see your family, or like, "You're so beautiful. Like, what are you complaining about? Like, I can't believe you don't think you're pretty or you think you're fat." There's always something along that we like see ourselves differently. So it kind of like removes that veil and gives them the opportunity to see themselves unobjectively. And then from that point on, that apprehension washes away because they're like, "Oh," they see right away and they go, "It's working. Like I actually do look good." And then they start to get into it, and then we get playful with it. That's usually when I start making fun of people, and I'm like, "Oh, I thought you were scared, and now you're just posing on your own."
It's like a mini therapy session too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think like women think they're coming for?
I think they want to feel something. It's very vividly around feelings in a session with me. Like I said, the pictures are like the least important part of the entire experience. It's more about the experience, it's more about the feelings. So I think, especially like my clients, it's because they want to feel something about themselves, whether it's, more confidence, or it's just they want to feel comfortable to wear that like outfit or that dress or something that they wouldn't normally feel comfortable wearing in public, or they just want to, change their relationship, with themselves. I work with, younger women who just want to document their bodies like as they are, because they're like, "Yeah, I'm going to get older, I'm going to get pregnant, and my body's going to change." I work with women who have had babies and they're like, "Yeah, my body changed and I want to learn to love it again as it is. Like I literally grew a human being inside of me and I want to learn to love my body with how it's changed from doing that." I have women who come to me from, yeah, they're going through a divorce and they, are reclaiming something of themselves, whether it's they're getting out of a toxic relationship, or just separating themselves and learning how to become independent,
And
so
remembering who
again,
they are too at the end, because
yeah,
sometimes you lose yourself in those relationships.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's more about like they're coming to feel something within
Hmm.
themselves, and then not just feel it in the moment. It leaves the studio with them. It does something to your brain, and I can speak from both like all of the clients that I've witnessed this with, but also from personal experience. It really does something to your brain. Like, it empowered me with my own boudoir. I've done 3 boudoir sessions now, and I'm actually due for another one. So I'm starting to feel a certain way in my body again, but it really, like, for me personally, it made me feel braver to wear certain things in public that I wouldn't normally wear.
Yeah.
And, like, I feel like I'm not skinny, but I'm not overweight. I'm more like a mid-sized girl. So to feel sexy in that body, as it is, without the need to
Yeah.
change any part of it, just feel good in the body that I'm in,
Yeah.
perfection is not a real thing. It's unattainable. There's always going to be something that needs to be
A
fixed
moving
or worked
target.
on. Yeah, exactly. So it's more about changing the mindset towards yourself and using it, like I said, using, my sessions as a tool to do that.
Well, I'm wearing my animal print for you today,
I love it.
and I have my black mug. So,
Amazing.
yeah, all for you today. No, but I can definitely relate to the women who want to, like, who's seen their body change over the years, because prior to kids, I never actually thought about my body. I was just always thin. I grew up, I just took it for granted, like I
Mhm.
ate whatever I wanted. And then like what I learned along the way after having kids, and then like a bunch of hormonal issues, all the things that women experience,
Mhm.
you know, and I've been wanting to do one of these shoots, as you know, for a long time. I think it's one of those things where, well, like anything in life, you don't get confident first and then you do the thing, and then the confidence comes. So you have to do the hard thing, as Jess tells us in
Yep.
coaching.
Yep.
So I can definitely, like looking back, I wish I had done, like, just photographed myself more. And I mean, even then, I think I was critical, not like necessarily because I thought my body looked a certain way, but like I didn't like my hair or I didn't like my
Mhm.
outfit, like you shy away from the camera. And I really wish I had done this. So I think that's a really, really good thing for younger women to think about, that, it doesn't happen for everyone, but your body, it does change in some way, maybe not
Yeah.
drastically. For me, it was a little drastic. But coming back to the point you made about like loving your body. So something that I've been working on, because, like you can spend like the rest of your life just being uncomfortable and talking about not loving your body, but then like, do you love yourself enough to change that or to improve on that or to get healthier, like, so like I feel like there's layers to your work as well that people coming in may not necessarily expect things to be uncovered for them. And like just listening to you now, that thought came to me that like, okay, but like, do you love your body and yourself? Not the way your body looks, but your body
Mhm.
and yourself enough to feed it the right foods and get moving and exercise, like, so I think like I definitely recommend this for so many reasons. And I think, especially now today with social media and the way women are portrayed, and there's a standard, and like, who
Mhm.
even made that standard? Like, why is the standard not healthy? Healthy body, healthy mind,
Yeah.
So this is like a very interesting niche that, and I'm happy we're having this conversation because it can shine a light on so many things that women need to pay attention to.
Yeah, absolutely. All of this, it just reminds me of a client that I had last year who came in. She had like a lot of medical issues. She had multiple surgeries. She was dealing with potential cancer, and she just same thing, like wasn't happy with her body, the typical, like how women feel about their bodies, where it's
Yeah.
just it's not in the best shape, so they feel a certain way. And she ended up having an incredible experience where, again, it like changed that mindset a little bit, but it actually propelled her. Like, I follow her on Instagram, I still am friendly with her. It propelled her, and the change that I've seen in her with how much she has put herself first and taking care of herself. Like, she's constantly posting videos at the gym. Like, she used it as a way to propel her relationship with her body and taking care of herself in such a
Yeah.
way that I find incredible. And she's also doing it as an inspiration for her daughter. So,
Mhm.
like, to love, again, love your body at multiple stages. It's always going to be changing, especially for women. And, to love it and take care of it no matter
Yeah.
what.
Yeah. I have a daughter and she's turning 15 next week. So it's really that age, that crucial age
Mhm.
where they're noticing, even like the response they get and just being in their peer group. And I'm really allowing myself to just be aware of the things I say and just being conscious of, how I talk about my body,
Mhm.
because you can do it without really thinking how it affects them or like
Yeah.
what they're learning. So I think that's really modeling it for them is really important. So
Yeah.
I'm modeling for you too, Melissa. Well, I had some questions for you, some rapid fire questions. What would you say to someone who doesn't feel confident enough to do something like this?
I get this a lot, and my answer is always, well, guess how you get the confidence to do it
Yeah.
is
So
to
we touched
just
on it.
do it. Yeah. My favorite new saying that's been coming up a lot, especially with Jess, our coach, is fear is a green light.
Mm-hmm.
So I always said my business was always like, if you can't beat the fear, do it scared.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the best way to overcome a fear is to push through it. And I always say to my clients, if you truly come in and you hate every single picture, which has literally never happened,
Yeah.
but if you come in and you truly hate every single picture, then we delete them all and they're gone. So what's the worst case scenario is you know, we're in front of the camera for a little bit and you didn't like the pictures, but that literally has never happened.
Yeah. And but did you die?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But did you die?
Yeah. No, I think like that's the thing as well. Like you don't have to show these pictures to anyone. These can
And
just be for
that's
you.
they're all private. I don't, every picture that I share on my social media is because I was given permission to share those pictures. It's
Yeah.
not because I like the picture and I share it. There are so many pictures that I absolutely love, like drool over because they came out so beautiful, and the
Yeah.
clients don't want me to share them. So, okay, they stay private.
Yeah. And you respect that. I
Yeah.
get it. It is a deeply personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, like from your perspective, it's also art, right? But
Yes.
then for the woman getting in front of the camera, it's so personal and, it's a peek inside. It's really it's intimate.
Yeah.
So I get that. What surprises you most about women when you photograph them?
It surprises me that women still come in with that fear because I just know that it's going to be gone so quickly. but I'm also working with like a specific type of woman who has that little bit of that fear, but is more of the rebel. And like, if like the type of personality, or it's like if you say you can't do that, they go, yes, I can. And then they do it anyway. So I don't know necessarily if there's like much that surprises me. My brain immediately went to like the wedding industry, and when I've said like I have seen everything, nothing surprises me anymore. And then whatever wherever I was, that experience was up leveled, and be like, oh, all right, that's new. I wasn't expecting that.
Well, maybe the surprise is more for your client than you. Maybe they're
Yeah,
surprised at how much they're enjoying it and how confident they
yeah,
feel.
yeah.
Yeah, that could be something too. And what makes someone instantly beautiful to you?
I guess their genuine personality, not having like a, I guess, a fake air about them. I don't know. I have a personality type where like I feel icky when I'm in a fake scenario, like when I hear people talk fake.
Yeah,
Like I don't know, I'm a very sarcastic
rebellion.
person. I'm a very playful person. Like I like to be funny, you know. So I guess it has to do more with that. I feel like all women are beautiful, and even like I feel like bravery. I guess I'll say bravery very loosely, but when they do something that they normally wouldn't do just to do it and experience it, I think that's beautiful. I feel like seeing women like natural with no makeup is beautiful. Again, just embracing how you're like, I've been trying to do that a lot because I've been very vain as far as like I used to not go out in public without makeup on, but now I like make it a thing where unless I have some sort of event to not really put
Mhm.
makeup on or be very minimal about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I find all women beautiful. All body types are beautiful.
Mhm.
And it's just a matter of like pulling that out of each person, each woman.
Yeah. I think because of your work too, you've just had the experience of going so deep and uncovering layers with women and like having conversations. Your perspective has shifted
Yeah,
in the way you see
absolutely.
beauty. And you are an artist. So just your lens are just by your profession alone, just different from somebody else who may not have that artistic vision. So I feel like the judgment, like you're free of judgment and you just kind of see most things as art. Am I right or am I putting words in
Yeah,
your mouth?
no, absolutely. That's been my entire life. I like had a joke that I said recently to somebody where I was like, I could be in a parking lot and still find a beautiful area to take pretty pictures. And then I thought about it and I was like, I actually have done that. I've been in a parking lot and found an area next to a dumpster and but taken beautiful pictures in it. So
Yeah.
I already have like I guess the eye or the brain to see the beauty in everything in all areas of my life. I'm more of an optimist, you know, when it comes to just life in general. So I guess they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah. And I think even if you're not an artist, you're not a photographer like you can train yourself to see beauty in the most mundane things or everyday
Yeah.
things.
You know, like we learn all the time, again, like, you know, referring back to Jess, our coach, like you're in control of your own thoughts and you will see, you know, or you'll find evidence in whatever your thought is. So if it's a negative thought, you will find the evidence. If you're like, oh, my life is so tough right now, you'll find all the evidence as to why it's tough. If you turn just flip it on the other end, and you're like, oh, my life is so great right now, you'll find all the evidence to back that claim as well. So it's
Jess
just,
would be so proud of us right now. It is one of the most profound things, and I say it to her all the time, that I've learned from her, where your thought determines your outcome.
mhm.
So that has helped me so much in business and life, and I preach it to everyone. And I tell my kids all the time that you just need to change your thought. And,
Yeah,
like my younger one is still in that phase of life where she can be a little rebellious to things like this because it's just so new to her.
yeah.
But it's something that I wish everyone would take away. And to even go back to what you said about not wearing makeup, I had this conversation with Jess when I interviewed her, and I was talking to another friend. They say, like, one of the things that people recommend for women is to try going to a fancy event without makeup. And I don't know that I'm at that stage yet that I can still do that, but it is something that's intrigued me
Yeah.
because it's leaning into that fear, but it's also like just learning to not take yourself and take life so seriously and just know that like you showing up and like what you offer is more valuable than the way you might look.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
That
I
that
think,
reminds me or makes me think of Pamela Anderson. Like she was
yeah.
literally a sex symbol in the 90s. She goes to red carpet events with zero makeup on and basically is just unapologetically herself and just shows
Yeah.
up and be like, "Yeah, this I'm aging and this is what I look like. I have
Mhm.
like sunspots on my skin. Like this is what I
Mhm.
look like now." And she just does not care. She'll wear a stunning, beautiful dress with zero makeup on and like that is like goddess. Like
I feel
worship
like that's
her
like
for that.
a level of enlightenment.
Yeah, and empowerment. Like, how powerful do you have to feel to be like, I don't like everyone's going to have an opinion, especially such a public figure. And people
Yeah.
do. They say horrible things about her for doing that. But like,
Mhm.
how powerful is that to be like, whatever, I'm still going to do it.
And it's a shedding of the ego and
Yeah.
just being able to be comfortable just here. And I will say, like, you are so full of surprises because I know you are funny and sarcastic and silly, but you don't initially come across that way. You feel more like the serious older sister. And until people get to know you, and I feel like that in itself is why women should just book a session with you because then you just instantly feel like someone's best friend. You go and we talked about this before, like your favorite color is black and you are like the brightest light I know. So you just there's just so many layers to you, Melissa. And I can just see like a shoot with you being so much fun because it's like it's experiential where you don't really know what you're getting even with you, even working with you, forgetting about like the session, just getting to know you and interacting with you in itself is an experience. So it's all across the board. It's fun. But thank you, my
Yeah, of
love,
course. Thank you
for
for
chatting
doing
with me.
this. Yeah,
And I had so much fun. And
me
before I
too.
let you go, we did not touch on gifting because I wanted you to just talk about your work. But is there a gift that you've ever received, and this is something I ask everyone, that stands out to you?
I'm not a huge like that's I guess funny enough, not one of my love languages, gifts.
What is
But
your love language?
I think acts of service
Okay.
is more my so I'm more about experiences like when my husband and I exchange gifts for like the holidays. I'm more excited to get like concert tickets or like something that
Mhm.
we could do together. I'd rather do some sort of event together.
Yeah.
But with that being said, a gift this past Christmas, I had a what's it called? A spoon rest that was an octopus. I had like a name for him and everything, and unfortunately, he was shattered multiple times, glued back together, and it finally got to a point where I was like, okay, he's dead. Timothy's dead. But my brother found another copy of it. I had bought this in like a local like store in Cape May. So I was like, it's not like a an item I could just
It was
order
unique.
offline. Yeah, it was a unique artist made item. And he was able to find another one and gifted that to me for Christmas. So like
That was really
like things like
thoughtful.
that when it comes to like thoughtful stuff. And then I know we didn't talk about your gifting as much, but anytime like I've had it like family experiences, and anytime where like my family goes, let's send flowers or let's send an edible arrangements. I always, I'm like, no, we're gonna send a gift from my friend Andrea Panier Cadeau, and she's gonna come up with this beautiful, like curated gift that is gonna be so much more meaningful than a bouquet of flowers that are half-assed that are gonna die, or like edible arrangements, like fruit that's like some of it's good, some of it's not even really ripe because it's just so mass produced.
Yeah.
And my personally, I have so many health issues when it comes to stuff like that. I'm like, so I'm gonna have an allergic reaction to anything I eat that's gifted to me like that. But yeah, that's your gifts are such a curated, individualized, important, like unique way to express yourself to somebody, whether it's like I've used you for grief, I've used you for
Yeah.
birthdays, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah. Thank you for trusting me
of
and
course.
for even thinking. And I always go back to how thoughtful, not just like the gifts that I'm designing, but even the giver having this idea of wanting to send a gift, a thoughtful gift. Like the thought starts with you.
Hmm.
So thank you for always thinking of me.
Of
And
course.
do not send Melissa food or fruit basket, people. And
Call Andrea.
definitely, yeah, call me and definitely book your boudoir session. So thank you.
Yeah. Of course. Thanks so much for having me. This was fun.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye.